Welcome, please. All right. So, as my contract says, interview with no conduct violations.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. So, I want to begin by asking, considering the magnitude of what's taking place here today, uh, first ever TEDx event inside of a Missouri prison, out of more than 20 plus DOC facilities in the state, why do you think Farmington was chosen for this first historic opportunity?
I think that can be summed up in one word of, well, maybe two, persistence and accident. Um, so we were having conversations here about what we wanted the vision for Farmington Correctional Center to be. And so we built this reentry center, and I kept saying, I want to have TED Talks. And I couldn't articulate really what I was trying to say with anything else than TED Talks, where we bring in people, we have leadership discussions, we have just different topics about growth and opportunities and just doing better for ourselves. So I kept saying TED Talk, TED Talk, TED Talk. And we couldn't come up with another word, but there was one suggestion of Terry's tantrums. That was a no. So I kept saying that, and so I was going to meetings with central office and different things, and I kept saying TED Talks. So our previous director, Ann Presythe, happened to have a run-in with Delia and Ann from TED Talk, and so I think that persistence and misusing the word TED Talk all the time, that I was the only institution that came to mind. So I believe that's how we are here today.
Awesome. Wow. Okay. So persistence. When you say that, it makes me kind of wonder. There has to be some persistence that brought you to this place. Out of everything that you could have chosen, why a career in the Department of Corrections?
Well, I can tell you that at no point in my childhood did I say, when I grow up, I want to run a prison.
Really?
So I think like everybody, you're not really sure what you want to be when you grow up, and when you grow up, you still don't know what you want to be. And I had a background in substance abuse, and I had decided while I was attending college that I wanted to be a parole officer. And so one of my instructors worked for the department, and he said, okay, if you want to do that, you really should become a correctional officer so that you can really understand about correctional facilities and what they do and how they operate and understand the population. So I did that. I hired in as a correctional officer. And then, I enjoyed the job, and kind of weird that I found my calling. I enjoy what I do, and I was good at it, and that's how I ended up here. So I've held different roles throughout the department, and the funny thing is I have never been a parole officer. And so here I am, killing it running a prison.
All right. And so I think it's especially by now, you know that prisons can be difficult places. It's difficult on the resident population, but it is also a challenge for staff, and especially with society paying more attention to mental health and considering how stressful the job can be. I would like to know from a leadership perspective, how do you bounce back from bad days?
Well, I think perspective is what matters. And when you have bad days, you only know what a bad day is because you've experienced good days. And so you have to remember that they're not all bad days, they're not all good days. And sometimes when you can't find that perspective, it's something that I teach my kids, I say it in my house, I say it to my friends, I say it here. Go to bed. It's amazing the perspective you can get after a good night of rest and a new morning. And so when you can't find that, just go to bed.
Awesome. I have a lot of sleeping I need to do. That's good. So when I was talking to Mr. Petty, he was telling us about a situation where you guys were in a room and there was a conversation that was being had, and he was sharing this with us in the context of reentry and how dedicated you are to reentry. And he said that he overheard you consistently kind of say to yourself this mantra, remember why we're here, remember what we're doing. What was the story behind that?
Well, I actually had to be reminded of this because I talk to myself a lot. So there's no telling what we were doing when I was saying that. But so we were having a staff meeting sort of at that beginning phase of reentry and launching into this vision that we have. And I had all my staff in there, and we were talking about things we could do, thinking outside of the box. And as people are throwing ideas, one of them had come up, and I said, no, absolutely not, no. And then I had to catch myself. And if you're trying to shake off old mindsets, and you're trying to move forward, and you're trying to foster an environment of change, it's very easy to go into what you know and just say no, and not really know why you're saying no. So I was talking to myself because I had immediately said no, and then I had to keep reminding myself, okay, why are we here? What are we doing? And are we moving toward that vision and that goal? Or do we really need to consider, why are we saying no? And so the other takeaway from that is people are listening, and maybe I should have those conversations with myself just in my head.
I understand. Staff, you heard it here first. The answer is not always no first. You heard it. Can you share with us some of the accomplishments that you are most proud of here at this facility?
I like to brag on this facility. I would say that probably one of the most tangible things that you can see is our reentry center. That's been a goal for us. We are a large facility, and the vast majority of our offenders will go home. And so that center has been very important to us. It's important to us as a facility. And it's important because it's not just a building with a couple of staff in it. This has been, and this is the thing that we've talked about, it has to be all of us. It has to be our maintenance staff. It has to be our teachers. It has to be our librarian. It has to be everybody moving toward this vision. So I'm proud of that physical structure, but more than anything, I am proud of the environment that we are creating here, and everybody being on board and everybody moving in that direction. And it takes a lot to turn a ship, and it takes all of us, and that's what we've done. And I could not say that Farmington is an outstanding facility, both from those who live here, the residents, and from the staff who work here.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's good. I'm curious, considering this out-of-the-box theme, what's love got to do with it? What would you say that theme means to you?
Well, I have to admit that even I was surprised when that was selected as a theme.
I know, right?
I thought, okay, because love isn't a common topic in prison.
Right.
But if you're having honest conversations, isn't it really kind of at the top of the conversation? We talk about love, acceptance, morality, humanity, and we always think of prisons as being void of all of that. But when you think about it, that just means there's lots of opportunity for love to grow. And when you look around, I hope that what people see is how many people love what they do and what they're doing. I love my job. I love the ability to have an impact on others. And I love that we get those opportunities to look around and allow others to grow and love who they are and what they can do and what they can contribute, because it's important that you learn to love yourself. And so my job is to help create that environment, instead of being void of love, being full of love. And that's what it means to me.
That's awesome. I love that response. I love that. So as we look around and as people are coming in, we're noticing there are a lot of guests, a lot of visitors who have never been inside of an institution before. So what is something that you would want our visitors to take away from being here today and sharing this experience with us?
I hope that what is taken away is that Hollywood has it wrong of what prisons look like.
So it's
and
not
what
like
happens.
the longest yard?
No,
Okay.
but I do love a good football game.
Okay.
Prisons aren't what they would have you believe. That all across the nation, all across Missouri, there has been so much growth and change that I hope what you can take away is that there's, one, so much going on, and that we are creating an environment that produces that love. but also that there's opportunities for people to come in and participate and contribute to that, and that we're all just people here,
Yeah.
every last one of us. So
Yeah.
that's what I hope you can take away.
That's awesome, and I definitely appreciate it, and I want our guests to know that we are grateful here for your progressive approach to incarceration, doing things differently, and it makes a difference. I want to close out with one last question, and it's a question that I saw on an interview some years ago. A gentleman was having a conversation with the late Maya Angelou, and he asked her, knowing that she was close friends with Malcolm X, he asked her, he said, what is something that you would want the world to know about Malcolm that they probably don't know? And her response was that Malcolm had a wonderful sense of humor, and that history does a bad job to following generations because they paint these people as larger than life, and in reality, they're just human. So my question for you would be, what would you want the world to know about Terry Vandegrift that they may not already know?
So the first thing that comes to mind is I'm a terrible cook. Probably not what. No, really, I think what I would like for everyone to take away from that question is warden is just a job title. It's nothing more, nothing less. So throughout the day, and if you're doing your job and you're doing your job well, I'm only the warden when I need to be. The rest of the time, I'm a mentor, I'm a leader, I'm a problem solver, I'm a friend, a counselor to everyone. And so when you look at the people who work in prisons or who are incarcerated in prisons, they're more than one title. There's just so many facets to a person. So to sum somebody up with a job description is not really a great service. So
That's awesome. Well, we just made history. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Vandegrift.
and you don't get a contact violation.
Thank you.